Look how sweaty I am.
You're. Ew.
I get nerve sweat when I'm on camera. So this is like what happens. This is what happens when I talk to the camera. I get super nervous.
You are so sweet.
Look at that nastiness.
So what traditional elements are we having at our wedding?
We're getting married.
So obviously we're having a wedding where we are doing lots of non-traditional elements, but we are keeping some traditional elements.
Let's start with the ceremony itself. We're going to be exchanging rings.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be reading vows.
Mm-hmm.
We have bridesmaids and groomsmen.
Right, and they're single gender.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we have two sides.
Two sides.
We wanted a circular ceremony, and that was not something that ended up working out with our venue.
Yeah. We
are having a rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
My dress is not necessarily the typical bridal gown, but obviously you haven't seen it yet.
No.
So it's not the typical bridal gown, so it's a bit non-traditional, but I'm still wearing a dress.
What are we doing that's not normal?
A lot of things.
We're writing our own vows.
We aren't having a religious officiant. We have a non-religious officiant, our friend Greg, who is marrying us. It's very, very simple to get ordained. We are debating right now between either just me walking down the aisle by myself towards Kyle, which is one solution, or us walking in together to our ceremony.
So she won't be presented by her father. Won't be given away.
Right. Though my dad is my best friend in the whole world, I think that is one of the most archaic marriage traditions. I give myself freely to be married, not my father giving me.
I won't be bringing a pig in trade. But no, I like the idea of her walking in on her own just because I feel like that's a very important... It is traditional. It is in a traditional part, but I think it's a very empowering moment, and I also think it's something you also shouldn't take away from the guests. I think that's a moment of just complete
so maybe that's awe. Like a compromise moment.
The main awe moment of just
that's important to you.
Yeah, I think it's a very important moment to me. So I think that's one we will keep.
But we'll see each other before the wedding.
Yes.
So the morning of the wedding, the bridal party, both the bridesmaids and the groomsmen, we'll have brunch together. We'll start getting ready together. And so Kyle and I will get ready together. Yeah. But then I think, it's thinking about it more now. Originally, I thought it would be really cool if we walked into our wedding together. But Kyle, this is finding compromise. Look at me compromising. Yeah. Look at me doing this.
A rare sighting
in film.
Yeah.
Because that's important to you, right? For you to be able to see me actually walk down the aisle towards you. It's an important tradition to you.
It's a game to me. I want to see if I can not cry.
No, it'll happen.
It's probably...
It'll be a good photo moment, I'm sure.
What's traditional about a reception?
We won't be having a cake.
That's non-traditional. I'm talking about traditional. We got table numbers.
We'll do the father-daughter dances and the mother-son dance.
We will for sure keep those. We will for sure keep those.
That's very important to us. That's probably the most important tradition.
What about toasts? Toasts by our best man.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Sometimes people don't do that. I hadn't even considered that until you just brought it up right now. No, do you think that you'd like Ryan?
I would love that just because
Ryan ends.
Just because putting Ryan on the spot makes me so excited.
We'll have a big D20. That's actually something that I thought was really cool. Is I saw this tradition where instead of clanging glasses to get the bride and groom to kiss, what you do is you roll a D20. There's this big stuffed D20, and if it lands,
ultimate level of nerds,
right? And if it lands like over 15 or something, it's like a 15 to 20. Then the bride and groom have to kiss.
We don't know for sure yet, music-wise, if we're gonna have a live band or DJ or self-DJ. So that's something that we'll keep everyone kind of up to date
that we definitely need to
as we go
think about right now. Yeah, we won't be doing the garter toss or the bouquet throw. It's the worst.
Yeah, neither of those things. They're in my opinion just kind of weird and uncomfortable cuts in fun because I feel like you're having fun, you're dancing, you're doing all these things, and then they're like, everyone stop having fun for a second. And
so you can watch the bride throw a bouquet. Women fight over it.
If you're not married, come over here and fight for this piece of clothing that's been on her inner thigh.
And there's a send-off usually, that you send the bride and groom off, and there's like sparklers, and they get into a car, and then they leave
We're
for their
getting
honeymoon.
picked up by a helicopter from the roof. That's very non-traditional.
Right. We'll probably have maybe a breakfast the day after or something like that. So there probably won't be a send-off.
It's very, very exciting now that popped into my head. We'll all be together for another wedding.
Right, and I think that's what's most important really about this wedding is, you know, for us, I mean, the wedding is the wedding, and I know that this whole video has been about the wedding, but I'm just excited to be married, and I'm excited to see our friends and family.
Yeah.
And it's weird that there's this entire day that's about us.
There's going to be so much love sent our way that there's no point in stressing about things that really are not going to have an outlasting, you know, a lasting effect on us.
So with that said then, let's move into maybe a conversation about, for those of you who are wedding planning or thinking about getting engaged, or
when you do.
When you do, and you'd maybe like to do something that is a bit non-traditional or have a feminist wedding, kind of like what we're doing. I mean, the first thing that I can think of in terms of advice is that, I know people say this all the time, but to not sweat the small stuff. There have been several times throughout the course of our wedding planning where we have had things happen, like a vendor increasing their costs without us knowing, or when...
Which I wouldn't say that's small stuff, but there's nothing you can do
There's nothing that you can do about it. Or a vendor that you really like being booked. There will be other options for you, and there are so many vendors out there, and there will always be someone who can be within your price range and that will do great work. So you just got to do a little bit of searching.
Do certain things yourself that literally are laid out for you like a wedding website. We're going to be hosting a wedding website through Squarespace, pre-built. As soon as we get the engagement photos in, it's going to be ready to go. So people will RSVP. You know, it's going to be connected to a honey fund, so people can then go on there and see our registered items. Having people actually send back their invitations to RSVP, you're taking that step out of their hands, and you're making it a lot more simple for them to go on and RSVP. So, because the most stressful thing in a wedding is getting close to the wedding and not hearing back from people on how many people you're going to have.
Because that's every plate is money.
It saves you money because we have an invitation going out, we have a details card,
and that's it.
And a save the date.
Instead of all of the RSVPs and everything. So digital we really recommend that you do RSVPs digitally.
Yeah.
Number 3 would be to make sure that everything that you have is saved in either a Google Doc or a Google Drive or in email so that they're easily accessible. I know a lot of people use Pinterest. I've looked at Pinterest maybe for inspiration, and I think that's how we determined our colors and things like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually looking at vendors, having all of that together in a Google Drive and being very organized about it so that you can share those things, like with my parents, or with eventually when we hire a day of wedding planner so she can look at all our things, or for Kyle and I to be able to look at something together. Having it all saved is so important, I think.
Reaching out to, if anyone in your family has recently been married, reach out and see if anyone in the family has saved an Excel sheet with all the contact information of all of your invites, because we luckily, because of my brother's wedding, my aunt had my entire family's information in an Excel sheet ready to go. And if you don't have that, start early, because that was
an all-day event. That was an all-day event getting addresses.
We already had the addresses. It's manually punching those into a website to then have it printed onto a card or onto an envelope.
In terms of actually planning and the steps that you should take, maybe from the first thing that you do until the middle of your planning, for us, the most important thing was getting a date, right? And then finding the venue. For us, that was, I think, number 1.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned way earlier in the video, the venue was so important to us, and we needed to make sure that we found a venue that had everything already there.
For most people, I know we got lucky, but venues tend to dictate the date in which you're going to do your wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Based on when they're available.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So for us, we knew, since we were getting married in San Diego, that we were going to have to look at least a year in advance, and that's what we were able to do. We are getting married about 14 months out, so we're having a 14-month engagement. That's crazy.
High five, we made it.
And then moving on from that, I think, was the photographer for us.
Yeah.
Because depending upon your location, photographers are booked
well in advance.
Well in advance. That is something that you need to understand. Photographers are booked. So if you find someone that you like and you do some experimenting or some investigation on Instagram, find you a photographer that you like. And at least a recommendation that I have in terms of that and finding a photographer, it seems to be in vogue right now that so much of wedding photography is really dark and gloomy and everything's like kind of over processed and it's like blue and orange and everything. That might be very trendy now, but it's not going to be trendy in 20 years when you're looking back at your photos and everything is so dark. We chose a wedding photographer that actually shoots in film and digitally. Her name is Lindsay. She is just amazing because she captures light exactly how it was. I mean, because she shoots in film, it captures the actual light of the day, and then she edits her digital images to match her film.
We're not doing a videographer.
Right.
We wanted to pay up for photography. Videographers are so much more expensive.
Well, that leads us to then this point about actually what you need versus what you want. Because we thought coming into our wedding planning, oh yeah, we definitely want a wedding videographer. And then we looked at prices for things and said, no,
easily.
Actually,
and it was an easy no.
And it was an easy no, because actually getting a good wedding film would cost upwards of $5,000, and we thought, no, I'd rather spend that on flowers, amazing flowers, and I really wanted a day of wedding planner.
We're only halfway, so we will, I'm sure, make another video as we get closer.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just being in constant communication, but also recognizing that, how do I say this? That your life is not your wedding. And if you make your life your wedding, you are going to push everyone in your life away from you. If I need to text my bridesmaids or talk to Kyle about the wedding or talk to my parents, it's like once, during the day, we talk about it and then I drop it and move on. It was really important for me, especially with my maid of honor, because she's my cousin, she's my best friend. I wanted to make sure that our conversations revolved around our relationship with each other instead of just my wedding.
Yeah.
I didn't only want to be going to her to ask about wedding things, or I didn't want to only talk to my bridesmaids if I had something to say about my wedding. I wanted to make sure that I was maintaining my relationships, and the same with my parents. It should not be that you develop a relationship with someone when you're wedding planning simply because you only have wedding things to talk about. I think that that's really going to drive people away, and so I've been very conscious about that. So we hope that this video was useful and or interesting for those of you who are interested in our relationship or just interested in wedding planning in general. Obviously, we'll have more things to say as we get closer to the wedding.
I heard him coming, so I just kind of sat here. Like, yeah, you fucking truck, you bloody truck.
Look at this cat right here. It's like, yo, what's up, bro?
You bloody cat.
Yo, my name is Carol. I'm a magical unicorn.
Look how sweaty I am.
You're, ew.
I get nerve sweat when I'm on camera. So this is like what happens. This is what happens when I talk to the camera. I get super nervous.
You are so sweet.
Look at that nastiness. No?
I want to see here.
No. Hey yo, I'm a 15-year-old boy at my first high school party with my girlfriend. I don't want no one touching this. This is mine. I have a pack of cigarettes in my jacket that I took from my dad so I look cool because I'm 15 and I'm in high school.
Do that in high school?
Yes.
Really?
They don't actually smoke them because they don't know how to smoke.
Oh, I never saw cigarettes on my campus ever.
At parties. So.
Oh, will Leia be part of the wedding? No.
Leia will not be part of the wedding. Hopefully this video was helpful and informative and somewhat entertaining. If not, then we can just like dub over some funny voices and make it more entertaining.
Am I doing that right?
No, what the fuck is that? Anyways, that's for another video. But yeah, so that is. We will be making another video, I'm sure, as we get closer. But for now, that's it. It's the end of the video. You guys go now. The credits are gonna run right now. Just
Why are you still here?
Watch the credits.
Why are you still here?
The credits are gonna roll up.
Why are you leave? Go back.
Go away.
Leave.
We're jocking the back end of every video.
Oh!
Bye-bye.
This is a puppy. Okay.
Oh, I smell her butt.
Oh, I smell her butt.
Yeah, get out.
Dude, she smells like fish.